Hi everyone, this is Balázs from Racing Brick. Thank you for your patience. We've had a very busy week with exciting news and new releases, but I'm finally here with the Lamborghini. This is my second review from the Technic August Wave. You could already see this awesome Audi on the channel. If you missed the video, you can find the link somewhere up there. Today I'm going to show you the 42161 Lamborghini Huracan Technica in detail. As you can see from the size of the box, the set isn't very big, although in terms of color scheme and theme it is pretty similar to the Sian from 3 years ago. The real close relatives of this model are these cars here. We already have quite a few in this scale. This is the Technic Car Transporter gang. There's not much to see on the front of the box other than the car itself. On the back we see a different angle, the hint of the hand-of-God steering and a small glimpse of the tiny V10 engine and the specs of the real car. Let's open the box. The set has 806 pieces, costs $50 or 53 euros, which is a strange increase from the usual price of 50, and it will be available from the 1st of August. We get 8 numbered bags in the box, 2 loose flex axles, a rather small sticker sheet and the instructions. As usual, there is no additional information at the beginning of the manual despite the branding. At the end, there is a page about the functions and the photo that is supposed to prove the similarity with the original from a very specific angle. Here's the part list if you are interested. Now let's start building. This is the beginning of the chassis. Up to this point there is nothing particularly exciting except for this thing that can easily fall out if you are not careful. Now it's better. Apparently this will become the steering system. You might wonder if LEGO finally managed to match the shade of that pin with pinhole piece to the other parts. Well, apparently they didn't. And it's the same situation with these similar pieces with 2 pins and the axle. This part family is apparently made of a different type of plastic and has a different shade, and it happens with other colors too. Maybe it's not a bug, but a feature to distinguish these parts. Okay, I'm just kidding. As always, I reached out to LEGO to get some background information and will let you know if anything comes back. Here's the crankshaft of that tiny V10, and I know what you are thinking. Yes, this setup looks an awful lot like the McLaren Senna, and no, we don't have a real differential here either. As you can see, the structure isn't the same but very similar. Here are the many pistons built from cross axles and half bushes, and this is how they go in place. Okay, something is still wrong here. This will be the solution, or maybe not yet. Let's add more parts. Okay, now we have the right angle and it works. Here is the first stickered element of the set. I actually didn't expect this solution for the steering. We add this assembly, slide the part forward and tada, we have a functional steering. Now here's another mystery. I add this assembly here, and according to the instructions it should move back and forth. Yes, it does, but why is that good for me? Apparently the assembly has to be in a very specific position for it to connect to the other one. We get a nice printed tile with the Lamborghini logo for the steering wheel. This part used to be exclusive to the big Sian. We continue to add details for the rear, and then this time comes a real mystery. I build this assembly until step 4, and then I have a problem. Maybe it's too late or something, but I really can't see what to do in steps 5 and 6. Does anyone have any ideas? Anyway, a few more parts added to the rear and that's the end of phase 1. In phase 2 we will continue with the details. Here's the driver's seat with stickers, then the hand-of-God steering knob. This section requires a little bit of attention. In the instructions you can see how to assemble it like this, but then you have to install it upside down. The half module offset building method was already used on the side and now here at the front as well. We extend the front section, then comes a small system build that is a bit difficult to push in place without it falling apart. A few more flag pieces added for more detail at the front, and that's the end of phase 2. Here comes the hood, and apparently the Lamborghini logo here doesn't deserve a printed piece like on the steering wheel, we only get a sticker. And the background of this sticker is unfortunately not the exact shade of lime we would need. Here is the assembly with one of the front headlights, and I really like how it is secured in place with the lime rod. If we add the parts on the other side, you will see how well it works. Let's put it in place. Well, I'm not sure if it will be fixed somehow or we will have a fully opening front section. This is a pretty chunky assembly, even though it won't really be visible. The rear mudguard panels are in place and here are the rear lights using some system pieces. It's time to use the long flex axles. The area around the engine is also covered. Here is the rear wing, and after the front mudguard piece comes a tricky build with some interesting angles. This is one of the doors. Same things are added on the other side, and all we have left is to mount the wheels, and we are done. So here is our finished model. I would say that it looks much better in person than I expected from the photos and the box art. Of course, there are disproportionate areas, but it clearly looks like a small-scale Lamborghini, and I'm actually glad about that. The front is quite alright with all these small panel fairings. You can see the effort the designers put in there. I was expecting this mudguard piece to stick out more, but it actually works quite well. I also like the door and the surrounding area. The worst part I find is the section above the rear wheel. That long panel fairing sticks out a lot and there's a big gap that doesn't belong there at all. The wing is again pretty true to the original and the rear part looks pretty good. As for the features, we have hand-of-God steering and the knob is easily removable if you want to display the model. There is a small fake V10 engine that is powered by one of the rear wheels. You can see it through this opening here. The doors can be opened as well. They are only held in place by a single piece and feel a bit wobbly. The steering wheel is fixed, but that's no surprise at this scale. We have some details for the interior, achieved mainly with stickers. They look good. I'm not sure if it's a special feature, but the entire front section opens up, which looks a bit odd since the lights are also attached to this assembly. The flag pieces are also easy to move around in this position. So let's see how it looks next to its big brother. The size and price difference is obvious, but together they look cool. I just wish the small model had a different color. Unfortunately, the color variations are much more visible on the smaller body than on the larger one. They just happen more often and are easier to notice. And the third different color of the sticker's background doesn't help either. Luckily there isn't much of it on the outside. The other reason I would rather have the Huracan in a different color is this car here. Same color, same scale. Here are some of the others, they look nice together. And of course the new one also fits on the car transporter, which is a great thing. So, I really don't understand why it had to be lime at all. We already had a lime colored vehicle in this scale, the big Sian was also lime, so unless it was specifically requested by Lamborghini or they really wanted to make a more affordable version of the Sian, the color choice is really strange and makes no sense. Especially since the color inconsistencies on these particular parts are well known, LEGO should really take that into consideration during the design process if they can't find a solution. The car was also promoted in other colors, it could have just been grey. That might have helped with the part and sticker color inconsistencies. You may say this isn't a big deal, it's just a toy for kids, it's a 9+ set, not an 18+1, I shouldn't complain about it. Well, since it's a problem that's been around for years, I think LEGO should try to avoid it on any set, regardless of the age rating. Otherwise, I would say it's an okay set for $50. It has the features that the others in this category have, has some interesting building solutions here and there, the look is actually pretty good considering the scale, except for the rear section here, the weird huge opening mouth and the small and boring wheels. I still prefer the previous releases, although I generally like Lamborghinis more than Bugattis or McLarens. So yeah, I have mixed feelings. I really like this scale and I'm happy to see a new member of the car transporter family. This model also had potential, but unfortunately it was ruined by the color choice. Please let me know your thoughts, folks, in the comment section. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe with notifications as more exciting LEGO videos are coming soon. See you next time, bye bye.